Okay, I have the ALLPowers SF100 solar panel hooked up to the R600 ALLPowers Power Station, and I'm going to try to run a small freezer, and I'm going to see if I can get the magic 12 hours out of it. So we're going to play around with it. I'll show you what type of power station we got. That's the solar panel there. It's the SF100. It's the flexible type. So I'll go inside and show you what the power station looks like and the freezer we're using. Okay, it's just a little small Frigidaire freezer. I have a cup of water here that we're gonna put in there. Got some water there. We're gonna place it right here. Well, nope, we'll place it right there. And we're gonna see if we can freeze that. We'll come back in a little bit. Okay, I have the solar panel plugged in. We're gonna turn on the AC on the power station. And I have not tried this power station with that freezer, but we're gonna see if it works. I'm assuming it will. It should work. How long it's gonna run is gonna be the question. So here we go. You see, it jumped up to 600 watts. This power station is rated at 600 watts, and it's pulling its max right now. It has a surge of 1200. All right, so that was the initial startup. So yeah, it should be no problems on that initial startup for that freezer back there. So now we're just gonna let it run. We'll come back in and check it out as the compressor cycles on and off back there. And we'll come back in about an hour and see where we at with it. See how many hours we can get out of running this hooked up to the solar panel. Like I said, we got 51 watts coming in right now. So we'll check back in later on. Almost forgot the most important part, the clock. So we've been running maybe 5 minutes or so, and still bringing in 51 watts, and their freezer is pulling out 99 watts right now. So like I said, we'll come back in about an hour and see where we're at. Make sure everything's going good and how much power we have left. We still at 99%, so we'll check back. So we're at about an hour now. We have 95%, well, 94% left on the power station. We're bringing in 66 watts, and the freezer is pulling 83 watts. So we'll come back later on and see where we at, and then I'll check that water after about maybe 3 hours and see if it's starting to freeze up for us. All right, so it's been about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. We're still at 96% on the power station. It's pulling 83 watts. Earlier when I walked by, it wasn't pulling any watts. So I guess as the compressor kicks on and off, and it was back up to 99%, but now we're back down to 96%. Like I said, a little over 2 hours. So we shooting for 12 hours, you know, heard the old saying, if you can run your refrigerator for 12 hours, your freezer for 12 hours, and then have it off for 12 hours, your meat should be good if you can cycle it like that during a power outage. So just curious to see if I can actually do that with that freezer in the back with this small power station, a 100 watt panel. The good thing about this power station is it actually takes, you can bring in 220 watts. Right now I just have the 100 watt solar panel hooked up to it, but they said it can bring in up to 220 watts. All right, so we'll come back later on and see how things are going, and I'm gonna check that cup in the back and make sure it's freezing. And as you can see, the power just went, it's no longer putting any power out, so the refrigerator isn't pulling any watts right now. So we'll come back later on and check it. Okay, so it's been a little over 3 hours. We have 94% left on the power station. We got 55 watts coming in, and at this moment, the freezer isn't pulling anything. So at 94%, 3 hours in. And we'll come back in a little bit and check things. So we're coming up on 5 hours. We are at 94%, bringing in 28 watts from the solar panel, and 87 watts are going out. And I'm getting on, I would have figured probably about 3 o'clock I'll be totally out of the sun on this side of the house. I'm going to reposition this solar panel here in a second so I can catch better sun. Let's go see if our water turned into ice now. All right, let's see. We have ice. Seems pretty solid. So that's right at 5 hours. So we're gonna let this keep running and we're gonna see how long we can run it. Okay, I just repositioned the solar panel. It's pointing in a total opposite direction. Earlier I had it and it was facing away from the window. Now I got it pretty much facing towards the window. And then you can see where the sun is at. Once it gets behind those trees, that much longer we are going to be out of the sun. So at this position right here, I got 70 watts coming in, and I'm figuring probably about 3 o'clock we'll be behind those trees, and we'll see what we got coming in then. So we'll come back, check in a little bit. Okay, just 10 minutes after 3, and we have, let's see, 77 watts coming in from the solar panel, 87 watts going out to the freezer. And I would predict we probably got another 30 minutes or so of sun before the sun gets on the other side of the house. So we'll just come back in a couple of hours, see where we're at. All right. Got 86% left on the power station. All right, so it is about 4:20. And we are down to 71% on the power station. We just have 7 watts coming in. The solar panel is pretty much in the shade now. There's plenty of sun out there, but just not on this side of the house. And it's, you know, it'll be getting dark about 7 o'clock. So we're gonna see what this 71% does. It's not pulling any power right now, but we'll see how long we can get it to go. So it's been a little over 10 hours and we have 34% left on the power station. We have 1 watt coming in. I expect that watt to disappear pretty soon. So we'll be cutting it close to get 12 hours out of it. It's been 10 hours, need another 2 hours. So we'll give it we're gonna see where we're at. We're gonna get the last drop of watt hour out of this thing. All right, so it's been 11 hours. We have 22% left on the battery. Saying at this rate we got 40 minutes left. We may make the 12 hours. We're going to see. It's pulling 83 watts right now, and as you know, that's been cycling to 0 to about 83 watts. So we're going to see if we can get this other hour out of it to get our 12 hours. So we'll check back at the 12-hour mark and see if we made it. So we back at the 12-hour mark, and this thing is completely dead. I checked about 11 and a half hours, about 30 minutes ago, and it still had power. But sometime between now and then it ran out. So not quite the 12 hours, very close. So I'm gonna go check the freezer back there and see how everything's doing back there. Everything's nice and solid. So it's all froze. That's the water we put in there earlier. Everything looks good. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Unplug that, fixing to get ready to plug that freezer back into the wall. We didn't quite make it, so that was a fail there. Close, but no cigar. And a jam. I mean, 10 hours. You see, after about 5 hours, we had ice in that cup. So, 10 hours would have done pretty good. If you wouldn't have had sun out today, then, without the solar panel, I'm reckoning it probably would have run from, my guess would be 4 to 6 hours. This power station would have run that freezer with no solar panel hooked up. 4 to 6 hours would be my guess. And you're seeing what we did with the sun. I'd say we got about 11 and a half hours. So it's pretty good for such a small power station. It's 299 watts, and like I said, we was bringing in 100 watts today, but you can bring up to 220 watts in with it. To run that that freezer back there, you would need at least the next step up. This is 299 watts. If we got, I would say if you got one that was 600 watt hours, or 299 watt hours is what this is. If you get one that's 600 watt hours, it would you probably could get by with it for that size freezer. That isn't a very big freezer. I'll put the model number for it. It's Frigidaire, but I'll have the model number. I'll put it at the end of this video so you'll know what you're looking at. And this is the ALLPowers R600 Power Station, and we're using the ALLPowers SF100 solar panel. It's a flexible solar panel, very light, and you know, it's made to put on like on a van or something like that, just the way it flexes. So thank you for taking time out watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll also put a link to the ALLPowers website if you're interested in a power station like this, or maybe one a little bit bigger that they offer. All right, thank you, and we'll talk to you later.